I can definitely admit that I am part of the problem here, because what we're going to talk about right now is probably the most important foundational piece to you being a successful basketball player. Yet pretty much nobody ever talks about it. I hear from players every single day who struggle to perform well in games, and a lot of times they think, well, coach, how do I get better at this skill? Or, my decision making is not great, or my confidence isn't great. And for a lot of those players, and a lot of players that I coach on a daily basis and train on a daily basis, their biggest issue and the number one thing that holds them back is not their skills. It's not their confidence. It's not even their decision making. It's the way that they see the game. Now, when I say the word skill, whatever definition comes into your mind, throw it out the window for right now. Your skill of scoring points or making shots or finishing layups, whatever, is actually three things. And the third piece of it being the definition you probably had, which was the actual physical act of doing that thing. So making the shot or making the pass or dribbling between your legs. The action is the third part of a skill. There's still two more pieces. The next one right before that is the decision making. Again, a lot of players identify this as their biggest problem, making the decision to shoot the ball instead of making an extra pass, or making the decision to kick the ball out because the help rotates over instead of shooting the layup. You have to be able to make the right decision. But the first part of a skill is the part that is never talked about and is the most important thing, because without this, none of the other two things happen. And the first piece of it is your perception, or the vision that you have. Imagine like you grew up somewhere with no internet and no cars, so nobody ever came there. You never got to travel anywhere. You never saw what was out there. Your view, the things you could see and the things that you thought were possible, would be very, very limited. You wouldn't understand about what skyscrapers were, what planes were, what any of that stuff was, because you never had a chance to see it. And a lot of basketball players are going through games the same way. They are so limited with what they can see. Because of that, they're limited in their results, in their consistency, and in their confidence in games. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to fix this problem so that you see the game better. You become an expert when it comes to the way that you approach the game. Because of that, you're going to make better decisions, and it's going to lead to you having better in-game results as a part of that. Now, before I dive into this, I have a free 28-day Basketball IQ email course linked down below. We dive into a lot of this stuff even more. It'll teach you how to read the floor, how to anticipate plays better, which will ultimately help you to make smarter and faster decisions when you're in games. It's completely free, and it's the top link in the description down below, so definitely check that out after this video. The biggest difference in my experience between great players and average players is the fact that great players see the game better. They see the options that they have, whereas an average player or below average player is much more limited. Most players react to what's already happened. So they feel a step slow, the game feels really fast, but the best players are able to recognize early cues and almost anticipate what's going to happen, so the game feels slow to them. If you're watching them, it seems like they're always a step ahead of everything else. And that's because of their ability to perceive really, really quickly. They might subtly notice a defender who shifts their body weight right when they catch the ball, so they know that if they attack the other direction, they're going to have the advantage getting to the basket. They might see that, the help isn't fully rotating over, so they know the next time they catch the ball, the paint's probably open. They might look and see that their teammate's defender is really overplaying in the passing lane, meaning that they know if their teammate cuts back door, it's going to be open and the pass is on time and they're able to score points because of it. Every decision that you make on the court, every point that you score, first starts with a cue, something telling you to look at this. And if you don't recognize those cues, you're going to struggle to ever get to the point where your decision making even matters. This is why it's really important to continually ask yourself questions. When you're going back and watching your film, or if you're, in a break in a game or whatever, you're just kind of trying to think about how you can be better, asking yourself, what did I see? Why did I make that decision? Whether it was good, whether it was bad, really trying to question yourself and get an idea of the things that are cueing you to do certain things. It goes a long way with helping you see the game better and therefore being more successful and more effective. Now, the second thing that's really important is that experts see less but better. So a lot of players feel so frantic in games and the game feels really fast because this is happening, that's happening. They try and take it all in. The difference is that the best players, they actually don't really pick up on the amount of things that an average player or below average player is going to pick up on. They don't have all these things running through their mind because they understand what really matters, and that's where all of their attention goes. They're not just looking for more possibilities. They're looking for patterns that they recognize, cues that they recognize, and that's, again, where all of their focus lies. It's a lot like learning how to drive a car. When you first learn how to drive a car, you are so focused on everything that's going on. And as you do it more and more, you start to tune out a lot of the distractions. You start to tune out a lot of things that don't really matter. And you really only focus on the few things that do matter. And because of that, you're a better driver. This is where watching and breaking down film is so important, because it allows you to start to spot patterns, whether it's your own film, whether it's film of other players. You pick up on those patterns much easier. You start to recognize what really matters and what doesn't matter. And that way you become better and you see the more important things because you eliminate things that don't matter. And that goes to my third point, which is that perception is a very trainable skill. A lot of players and a lot of coaches too think that vision is just natural. Either you see the floor well or you don't, and that's just how it is. But perception is incredibly trainable, and it all starts with you being able to reflect on the plays that you make and the decisions that you make. So constantly asking yourself, what did I see right there? What did I do there? What happened? What was the result? Inside of my program, Basketball IQ Academy, we actually talk about this process, which is learn, apply, feedback. And it's so important because you want to learn things, right? So you want to study your film. You want to study the game. Much like you're doing right now watching this video, you're learning about how to be a better player. Then you want to go and apply those things. So how can I go and I apply the thing that I just watched or the thing that I've been studying? But then the most important piece of that is the feedback that you get, because you're going to see what works, what doesn't work. If I made that adjustment, it might have worked better. When I did this, then the defender did that. Every time that I do this, it works. When I do that, it never works. You get feedback on, for you personally, what is best. And that's the idea of explicit versus implicit learning, which it sounds complicated. Explicit learning is what you're doing right now. I'm explicitly telling you things and you're learning it that way. Implicit learning is what happens when you actually go into games and you learn by experience. So that's why this idea of training your perception, training your vision, it's crucial, because if you use feedback that you get the right way, you're going to supercharge the results that you get. So one of the best ways of training this, and videos that I've made in the past, where you pause a play before a decision is made and you look and see what's going on, what's the right decision. So not only are you working on your decision making, but you're actually training your perception. You're seeing all the potential options. And as you do that more, you become better and better at it. And you can do that just in your film study. If you're watching Mikal Bridges or you're watching Dante DiVincenzo, when they catch the ball, pause the play and perceive what's going on. What are all the options that they have? And then see how closely your decision aligns with their decision based on all the things that you saw. The other thing that is a really great way of applying this is by being really deliberate of what you're looking for whenever you're practicing, whenever you're playing, so that you get better at the things that you're perceiving. So for example, maybe you play in a pickup game and your focus that day is paying attention to what the help is doing. So whether it's the weak side help, whether it's the gap help, you're focusing on, okay, well, what do I see? Well, when the help doesn't fully rotate over, it creates this for me. Or when the gap defender is really high up in the passing lane, it creates a backdoor cut opportunity for my teammates. Now you're seeing more of these options because you're actually focused on perceiving that situation specifically. This is how you train your brain to recognize patterns. And like I said, the best players aren't the ones who have the most things floating around in their mind while the game is going on. They're simply the best at tuning out all the things that don't matter and being ready for the cue and for the different patterns that they see that let them know that an option is available. And above all, you want to constantly put yourself in that learn, apply, feedback loop. All the time. You want to be getting as much feedback as you can, learning as much implicitly through your experience as you can. And as you work on improving your perception, it will change everything and rewire the way you play the game of basketball. Now, this video helped you recognize how important vision is to your performance, and you're going to love my free 28-day Basketball IQ email course. We've gotten incredible results from players who have gone through it, who are currently going through it, who are seeing huge shifts in their performance in games. Like I said, that's a top link down below, completely free. Definitely check it out. I appreciate you for watching. Drop a comment if you got something out of this. Talk soon. Peace.